Hi, welcome to JJ's Productions. We've got another Hitman Roulette. Now, it's been a couple of weeks since I did the last one in Sapienza, but I'll admit this Marrakesh one has given me a bit of food for thought, even though it isn't overly difficult, it's just about trying to get a nice route. So, we've started in the bazaar entrance. We're going to kill Claus Hugo Strandberg within an accidental explosion as a soldier, not an elite soldier, just a soldier. We're going to be killing Reza Zaydan at the Consulate Janitor with a Saber, and we're going to be exiting via the car in the garage. So, this one was quite a complicated roulette, just in the sense that the two disguises that I needed were both at different parts of the map, essentially. The military soldier disguise you could find anywhere in the open areas of the map, whereas the Consulate Janitor, you had to pretty much go to the consulate to get it. So I was really weighing up which target to go for first, Claus or Reza, and it turns out that Reza is the best to leave last, even though you have to go back to the consulate to exit. So it was quite a strange one to route, I must admit. Anyway, as you've seen, I've knocked out the headmaster, I've picked up the headmaster's key, and that's pretty much all I've done up to this point, other than collecting the rubber duck from the headmaster's storage smuggle point. So we're going crouch here, we're going to vault over this barricade, and we're just going to go into the shop. We're going to vault over the cash register area, and we're going to pick up the coin and the saber. Now, we're going to put the saber into the briefcase and swap out a micro explosive. Now, I'll admit I didn't use the micro explosive, but that was more as a backup just in case I needed it. So, yeah, if you want to use it, by all means. To be honest, I did actually use it in an attempt at this route. And I'll tell you when I did, but I was a bit disappointed with the outcome. So once again, I'll bring it up when it's relevant. So at this point, we're going to get this guy's disguise. So pretty much step inside, throw the coin, he'll come inside to investigate, and we can just take his disguise. So I was actually pleasantly surprised regarding this disguise because I've not used it much in Marrakesh, even when I've done the escalations. It's not one I go to very quickly, and I was amazed that it's probably the best one in the consulate to have with an armed disguise. You know, even the elite officer, if you want to call it that, the military officer, the red caps, even they get a few enforcers in the consulate, so I'm quite surprised that there's such ease walking around in this. So I would advise people, if you didn't know it, just try and get through the consulate wearing it, because it's very good, and I might start using it if I'm trying to do challenges in Marrakesh for the legacy maps. But yeah, as you can see, we're just going into the consulate. I'm going to walk towards the right, just for the fact that there are fewer cameras that way, and I'm also going to just try and get the consulate car key while I'm in this area, just to save coming back when I've got the, once I'm killed Reza. So, from here, what we're going to do is we're going to destroy the surveillance first of all. Now, I was a little bit fortunate at this point because I managed to dodge a camera, but there is a camera just up above here and it was looking the other way. But you might want to destroy it even though we're about to destroy the surveillance. The only reason I say it like that is it's just something to do, because as you can see, we've got a guard waiting here. He's going to be there for a second or two, so you might want to just take the camera out just for something to do. If you're playing Hitman 2, you get points in your score for it, so it's something to consider. Anyway, delete the surveillance, and next we're going to get a propane flask. Now, when I came up with this roulette, or this roulette came out, I was actually looking for something that I could use to get Claus out of the consulate. What happened though was I just couldn't get good enough timing with Claus and after killing Reza. So I ended up going this route, which is just a simple case of blowing him up with a propane flask. So I do believe the idea of using the challenge to get him out of the consulate with a fire alarm or whatever is the more interesting way to do it, because there are oil barrels in his path to the school which you can use to blow him up. But I just didn't really get the timings right, and I know that might be a criticism myself, but the difficulty there is you've got to get him on his way to the school, but you've also got to get the janitor disguise and get this disguise, so there are quite a few balls to be juggling, whereas at least in this one it's more straightforward. You've got this disguise in this area, In a moment we're going to get the janitor disguise, and once you've killed Klaus, you can just take the janitor disguise and leave. So there's a lot less juggling disguises in this route, whereas if I'd have stuck with the one I had in mind before, I think visually it'd have been a little bit better, but it would have just been a lot more convoluted. So, as you can see, we've got a security guard out here, and he was annoying me at this point. I knew he was going to be there for a minute or two, and I thought, okay, what I'll try first is throw in a coin and just see if he nudges out of his route afterwards, in a sense of, oh, I meant to be walking now, so he'd go back into his route faster. But instead, he just stands there, and I think, alright, he's going to be there longer. Plus, the janitor that I'm trying to lure, he just happened to walk this way. So I thought, alright, it'll probably be the guard who comes, but I thought I'll try and lure the janitor and just see if he comes. And no, it's the security guard again. So what I advised is, if you're in this situation like I am, you might just get the janitor first time, but if you're like me, what I'd advise, just knock this guard out, because he's a bit of a pain anyway. You know, when he's patrolling the area, when there's the explosion, he could become an enforcer, and you don't want to have to be running around to avoid him. So my advice, just get rid of him. Anyway, next thing, throw the coin again. I would pick up the gun like I do here. You don't want the janitor seeing the gun. Once he's heard the coin, he'll come inside. We've picked up a hammer. Just a simple case of knocking him out, putting him in the closet. So, I'll admit I opened the door then. I was really holding my breath that no one just happened to look in at that point. So, anyway, moving on. We've got the janitor disguise now, and we're going to go back to the storage room we were in. And we're just going to change back into the soldier disguise. And we've got the propane flask in there, so we're actually just going to prepare the kill because Klaus isn't too far away. What we actually need to do is get rid of the consulate security officer up here. So we're going to place a gun, and we're just going to wait for Klaus to be on his way, and then we're going to throw the gun. I've also picked up that gun just because, you know, we don't want stuff littered around the place just in case it confuses NPCs. Actually, I say that, I place it down there, I forgot I did that. The idea is there's a consulate security guy who comes up the stairs, so we're just getting rid of him. Now, throw the coin. The consulate security guy will see the gun, and he'll take the gun downstairs, so that's 2 out of the way. It means that we've got just about enough time to throw a coin to lure Klaus into the room, and then we can knock him out. Now, this is where I did bring the remote explosive along for. When I attempted this the first time, I put the propane flask right where Klaus is now, and I put the micro remote explosive there as well. And it was quite a good kill. I wish I could keep it, to be fair, but for some reason there was a glitch, and I'm calling it a glitch because I don't believe this should be how it is, that when the remote explosive blew, it counted as bodies found. And I know it wasn't an explosion kill because it did say accident kill on the screen, and I heard him saying accident in the like the receptionist saying that they were on alert. So I don't know what caused the bodies found, but I'm not particularly happy I got caught in that sense because really it shouldn't have been bodies found. So I'm going to assume it's because I used the explosion and, you know, literally the body was found. So it's the only explanation I've got, and it's not one I'm particularly happy at. But yeah, as you can see, I've just shot the propane flask. Klaus is dead. We're going to hide the body just so that there can't be a body found, and then we're going to change disguise. So pretty simple steps. We're going to go any way we can, really, pretty much, to avoid consulate security. Pick up the briefcase with the Saber in it, don't forget it like I nearly did. And we're just going to exit the consulate now. Just be careful of enforcers. At this point I was actually keeping a very close eye on the minimap, purely because even though there aren't a lot of enforcers on the ground level to the janitor disguise, you never know if one might have just sparked up because of the explosion. So again, just keep an eye out. You don't want to get on the wrong side of an enforcer. So moving on. The Zaydan kill is very simple, and I don't think anyone who's played the game will have many guesses, you know, what I actually did for this kill. I used the toilet opportunity, so if you were wondering, you've got your answer. If you want to see it, of course, we're going to show it. But to be honest, I couldn't see the point in making this kill any more complicated than it needed to be. Even in the original idea I had, it wasn't going to be anything other than this, for the simple reason why move Zaydan somewhere else. Especially when you've got the janitor disguise on. I mean, it's like I could have got him in the tunnel, for instance, but why would I do that when it would just be more complicated getting him down there and getting rid of his guards? So, yeah, the only one that really made sense here was getting him into the toilet and just using the Saber on him there. So, as you can see, I've used the rubber duck and I've blown up that bike. There's a little bit of me that wished I hadn't blown it up with that and I'd used the micro explosive, but equally I saw that shopkeeper looking and I thought, well, if he sees me with an explosive in my hand, he'll catch me. So it was a shame I had to use the duck, but hey yo. We're going to crouch all the way around here and we're going to unlock the door. I'm also going to select the coins before I go through the door, because the first thing I want to do as soon as I'm through that door is throw a coin at that box there. That way, this guard here, or soldier, whatever we call him, he's going to come and investigate the noise. That soldier at the back will turn around just as we're subduing him. You have to be a little careful because that guard at the far side can see you. There has been an occasion when he just happens to look towards his right and sees 47 subduing, so it's not a foolproof point to subdue that guard, but it's reliable enough. Anyway, use corner cover to knock that guard out, and as you can see, all we've got to do is go through the door on the right. I'm actually going to get the Saber out at this point because we don't need the briefcase. So use the key. We're going to crouch along here. There's a guard just looking, so we've got to take our time. But it's not bad at this point. I mean, anyone who's done this challenge knows how easy it is for Silent Assassin suit only, let alone, you know, other variations of the challenge. To be honest, as you saw in my Legacy Maps SASO video recently on Christmas Day, I did 2 fiberwire kills on this map, and it's essentially using both the methods I've done here. So I'll admit, if anyone wants to point at me for a lack of originality, I will give them that, because, you know, these 2 challenges are just so good if you want to get to targets in an isolated area. I mean, the only other way I could think of getting Klaus, in terms of subduing him and blowing him up and being able to hide him fast, would be in the room he passes through. I'm trying to think how to explain it. The room he passes through to get to the room with the safe. I don't know what the actual room where the safe is called, but just as he's going through that, that's the only way I could think you could catch him. And to be honest, in the military soldier disguise, I think that'd be asking too much. So again, I think this is alright for the challenge and the conditions required. So as you see, I throw a coin, I just sneak around Reza's peripheral vision, and I use the Saber on him. It's a nice and easy kill. Also, don't forget to drop the Saber, otherwise you could get caught just a little bit on your way out. Okay, so just take a look down, make sure no one's looking, drop down, and as you're walking through, you've got a ready-made disguise for you. So the final part of the roulette was to exit via the car in the garage. We've already got the key, we've got a disguise to get into the Consulate garage, so we're all set. All we've got to do is get there. So I'd like to thank you for watching. If you have enjoyed this roulette, please leave the video a like. I am aiming to get 5 likes on as many videos as possible, so if you could be one of 5, I would appreciate it. This roulette did take a little longer than I would have liked, and I would have liked the route to have been a little bit neater and tidier, but I am still happy with how it's come out, especially considering I do believe that explosion could have been better. You know, I do believe the micro explosion should have worked. I think that is a bug, but I can't prove it. So I would like your thoughts on that if you've experienced anything similar, or maybe it's just me with poor placement, which again I'm surprised at because I never saw accident on the screen. So yeah, I'm a little bit bummed still about that body's found. But again, thank you for watching. If you haven't already, subscribe to JJ's Productions for more Hitman and Hitman 2 related videos. And until next time, this has been Josh. Bye for now.